Well, this goes back to a long, long time ago, into 1952, when I was a little boy of 6, and my father took us for a drive around the north side of Loch Ness in Scotland, and there was John Cobb going for the world water speed record with a jet-powered boat. And I saw this thing as a kid and I thought, wow, I want to do that. We set up a big program to create the BLOODHOUND car, which has got 135,000 horsepower. It's about the same as about 150 Formula One cars. You know, it's a really serious piece of kit. And this car has the capability of going faster than any aeroplane at low level. So we're really pushing the boundaries. And it's 20% more powerful than the latest British aircraft carrier. So it kind of puts it in perspective. We very nearly got to run the thing, but unfortunately the British government defaulted on a grant and wrecked the entire project, and our Chinese sponsor basically felt they couldn't continue since the British government wasn't going to continue. So that wrecked it, and I had to put the project into administration to save it, in other words, to keep the car and all the parts and the team together. And it was bought by Mr. Warhurst, who's been running it down in South Africa. And will it do it? It's certainly capable of doing it. Will you get the support and the finance to do it? Well, that's a big problem because Britain is so risk averse, it's embarrassing. Formula One is really boring. I mean, you know, we deal with supersonic airflow and these huge engines and rocket motors and things. This is what we do. I wouldn't want to go backwards to Formula One. The thing to understand about a world record is that it is exactly what it says on the box. It's a world record. Nobody else has done anything to beat it. And so therefore you've got to innovate like hell on these projects. You can't produce something that looks similar to what somebody else has done because you won't get a world record. I mean, you'll end up doing very much the same as they've done, you know. So everything is about innovation. And I've just produced a new book, which is coming out in the new year, on risk, and trying to get across to people the understanding that we really do have to take risk in this country now. It's been far too comfortable for too long. One of our first meetings was with Lord Drayson. Drayson was the Minister of Defence Equipment and Support at the Ministry of Defence. So he was the guy buying the aircraft carriers and all the airplanes and everything else. And he got very excited about what we were doing. And he said, look, we want you to help us. So I said, fine, what can we do? And he said, we have an enormous problem. We cannot recruit scientists and engineers into the Ministry of Defence. When we first started the BLOODHOUND project, Britain was sort of 5th in the world in mathematics and English. And now we're about 23rd or 24th and dropping down fast. We're just not competitive. And, you know, something's got to be done about this. One of the big problems is that we have a centrally controlled education system with a sort of stairway of exams and so on. But the fundamental problem is that what we need is kids to really understand their subjects, not just be told what the answers are and try and remember them. When we started running the BLOODHOUND car for real, and we had the big education program in Newquay, we had 3,000 kids on site at that time. And we began to really understand what this was. The kids were thrilled to be able to talk to the engineers. They were thrilled to see the car run. Because the fundamental problem is all these kids live effectively on screen. And we know, of course, on screen that just about everything is adjusted and faked and so on. So they're not getting the real inspiration at all. So it's a curious thing. We set up this program, and we then became the largest STEM program in Britain. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And we were basically integrating with about 127,000 kids a year, both in the schools and also at exhibitions and shows. And I'd like to think that we've created an enormous change. And it's very much now, of course, Mr. Warhurst owns BLOODHOUND. It's going to be very interesting to see whether he decides to continue the education program. I think it's incredibly important, and all our futures really depend on this sort of thing.